move to the Middle East, where in the latest Israeli strikes on Gaza, at least 44 people have been killed, including 38 in Gaza City. This is from the Palestinian Civil Authority, which says that nearly half of the city's population, which is around 450,000 people, have fled since Israel has launched its major offensive there since August. The UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres has described the devastation in Gaza as the worst level of death and destruction he has ever witnessed in his lifetime. He urged the international community not to be intimidated by Israel. Since the war began last October, Israel's bombardment has killed more than 65,000 people in Gaza and wounded over 165,000, with many still buried under the rubble. The conflict was triggered by Hamas's October the 7th attacks, which killed 1,139 people in Israel and saw around 200 others taken hostage. We're now joined by Major General Sudhakar Ji. He's a senior geopolitical and strategic defence expert, and he joins us live from New Delhi, India. Thank you very much, Major General, for joining us here on the programme. Of course, the United Nations General Assembly convenes next week, when world leaders from around the globe are set to meet with the backdrop of the Ukraine war, but of course this crisis, which has been at the forefront of global headlines. The UN have been issuing non-stop statements and reports about the humanitarian crisis which is occurring in the Gaza Strip. And of course, with this new statement, which the Secretary General has released today, saying that this is the worst humanitarian crisis that he has seen in his lifetime. Does this show the lack of power that the United Nations has as a body, that its Secretary General can issue statements like this, yet allow something like this to continue for the length of time that it has?
Yes, Thomas, good afternoon. Excellent question you have raised, and I couldn't agree more with the Secretary General's statement. Why now only? I would say that the transatlantic architecture based on which the global apex organizations are actually developed, particularly UNGA and UN Security Council, they have lost their relevance. And the Secretary General, whose word is supposed to be the last word on such matters for peace, harmony, and for peace enforcement, bringing ceasefire in conflict-ridden zone. Unfortunately, it is being ignored. And I would say this is the worst kind of genocide which is taking place blatantly in 21st century. Sooner we stop this mindless conflict, better it is. Otherwise, I think, in my opinion, the United Nations General Assembly, as also the Security Council, have lost relevance, and they should be closed down as the League of Nations were closed sometime way back in 1945. The reality in 21st century is different. It should be opened up, made more democratic, and people affected from the global south should have maximum representation in the say to bring about some kind of normalcy and ceasefire in these kind of conflicts. Back to Thomas.
Yeah, of course, and Israel has their one true main ally, and that is the United States here. Of course, that's also where the UN headquarters is. The Palestinian president, Mahmoud Abbas, has had his visa revoked and won't be attending the UNGA general debate next week. What are your thoughts on how that is going to operate? He will address the assembly, but in remote circumstances over a Zoom call. The dynamics here, what are your thoughts about how this can go forward and how this is going to be discussed diplomatically?
Yeah, I'm glad that you are raising such issues in NewsX World, and I'm very happy. Such issues must be flagged. Let's be mindful of reality. As on today, there are 142 out of 192 countries in the United Nations who have backed and supported the cause of two-nation theory. The entire dramatics of the rhetorics which are taking place is based on the paradigm of not accepting the two-nation theory by none other than the United States. Let me be very, very clear and blatant in this. What is Israel today is an extension of the US in the Middle East. Whatever Israel is doing, be it the bombardment in Qatar, trying to target the Hamas leader, or the genocide being carried out here in Gaza, not allowing the humanitarian assistance to enter into the premises and forcing people to flee, go towards the southern part of Gaza, and thereafter causing such disasters uncalled for, unwarranted in 21st century. So therefore, the point that you have raised, my reflections are it will do good to the sanctity and the credibility of United Nations General Assembly and Security Council to have a special and exclusive session and take a call. Is it going to be allowed in 21st century to carry on relentlessly till eternity and accept genocide is a way of resolving issues, or diplomacy and dialogue have to be given some chance? I think we need to do a very serious debate in the United Nations based on which a call could be taken that yes, here is an organization which came into existence in the reality of 20th century after Second World War, which is no longer relevant. Therefore, we need not take side and participate in any kind of discussion. It's a waste of money and time and resources as far as the global order is concerned. Back to you, Thomas.
Yes, Major General Sadar Kaji.